Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. There are certain days where I ask myself, why do I do this? Why do I keep making videos? Today is not one of those days. Today is one of those days where I'm glad to still be doing this, even though I'm not doing it as hardcore as I used to. Though I am going to try out some in-game content live at some point this summer because I have the time to. Unlike the last 9 months of my schedule, which were spent doubling and tripling down on my commitments to my quote-unquote real job that got me a raise thanks to YouTube. It all comes back. So we have a balance update for Maestro, Onslaught, and the Deathless Guillotine. It's a triple balance update, which personally makes me feel a little anxious from the get-go. Hey all, Balance Team here again with an update on the latest rounds of champions up for review: Maestro, Onslaught, and Deathless Guillotine. Maestro, alongside the release of the Necropolis, Maestro joined the roster of playable champions aimed at being the new defensive threat in the Cosmic class. Score. Maestro's impact was immediately felt. He quickly became one of the most used defenders in Battlegrounds and a mainstay boss and mini-boss in Alliance War. For a while, Maestro was consistently the best performing defender in the game. But players have started finding a lot of success against him. Stagger, Fate Seal, or champions that key off their special attacks handle him well. But he blocks out a lot of traditional meta attackers. As an attacker, Maestro is very successful against tech champions with his double class advantage. Players have also occasionally been using his immunities to clear Path 9 in Alliance War. Overall, really happy to see Maestro break out of the trophy case and thrive as a meta defender with a simple yet fun attacker loop. Going forward, Maestro will be staying as is. Now let's get to Onslaught. Shortly following Maestro, Onslaught also had a defensive responsibility for his mutant class. Specifically, we wanted Onslaught to establish new avenues of mutant threats, like with his high uptime neuroshocks and the introduction of Daunted on a parry trigger. As players have gained more experience against his special attacks and as counter strategies have been refined over time, we're seeing Onslaught's defensive performance stabilize at a healthy level, considering the intent for him to be a standout defender with new abilities. With so many defensive abilities in play, we look forward to releasing counters in the future. Give us more money that allow you to attack Onslaught through fun gameplay loops. Again, aka pay us more money. Offensively, much of Onslaught's defensive threat translates to utility and fight control. Overall, we see this utility as the focus of his attacking use, with players using that control to chase his degen damage. We're especially happy to see that the control granted by his utility is enabling his offensive loop rather than making his offensive loop too overbearing and consistent. High damage champions like Storm and Sunspot are still outputting more damage across the game, while Onslaught is finding new attacker usage like against double immune defenders in Alliance War. For all these reasons, Onslaught has landed healthily and will receive no changes. Deathless Guillotine, the contest's first playable champion from our Deathless collection, was a light callback to a Guillotine's original kit. We're seeing players use her new access to degen debuffs to great effect, with healthy performances so far as a featured Saga attacker in both our PvP modes and Battlegrounds and Alliance War. Since her target was an easy-to-play damage over time-based attacker, we're happy with how she's landed and will not be making any changes to her kit. Keep an eye out for incoming synergies from her future Deathless counterparts with Vision and good old King Group. So there was this fear that turned out to be fake news. That Maestro maybe would get rebalanced, but Onslaught definitely would be. Unless you are seeing a post that I haven't seen, that is just not true. Onslaught healthily received no changes. Maestro will be staying as is. Deathless Guillotine, happy with how she's landed. All those word to not change. So the fear was total fake news. Now, I do think that Kabam still has a rebalancing problem the minute that they are to do what people feared that they would do for Onslaught or Maestro or anybody else, and that is to tune them down and not be as good. We've yet to see that really take shape yet, but especially when you consider 6-star featured, 7-star featured, Valiant crystals. There's a reason why the Omega Days champions are largely champions that have been proven over the course of years, sometimes many years, like Corvus, to be champions that the game is happy with. They're not going to have to nerf or tune them down at all. Whereas if they were newer champions, who knows, maybe they would. I still think we have yet to see the case study for this. Maybe it'll be Bullseye, but I think that the Negasonic Teenage Mutant Warhead is a response to that without directly tuning down or nerfing Bullseye. Maybe I'll be wrong, but that's how I view it. And instead of tuning down Maestro, they're just going to increase the value of people doing any path, even just one path for the 6-star, a completion path of Necropolis, and then we'll see from there. Either way, the fear turned out to be total fake news, and for that, I'm thankful to report our champions, for now, are staying as is. Did you believe the fake news? Did you think that Onslaught was about to get neutered? Or do you feel good about it? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.